Arcade Heroes.
This is Adam with ArcadeHeroes.com, and I'm here with something that's a little bit different than what I might normally post, but don't worry, I'll explain why I'm playing something on PC and not arcade for at least this, and that's because this is a game that is coming to arcades, probably by 2022, and it's only been announced through the Kickstarter, and I will have an article about this on arcadeheroes.com, but since I saw that this had a free demo available for it, that I might as well record some gameplay and talk about this game and what we might expect for arcades. And so, just running this on my PC. I don't think it has a demo on the consoles, but it will be coming to PC, PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, all that stuff. And so, obviously it's long enough to have a demo of it, and the Kickstarter is already successful. I think they got full funding that they were asking for within 24 hours, and as of this recording, I think they still have something like 29 days left. But in that Kickstarter, and that's where I found out about this, is that they have an XR Arcadia version that's going to be coming out. Now, right now they're saying probably by the end of 2022 is when they will have this along, but let's get started here. I'll start with Apprentice, as I've not played this yet. I've just read about it. So this only has 2 characters available. Should have more. And now one thing with XR Arcadia, for those that are familiar with it, of course, if you're not familiar with it, I guess that's who I should be talking to. So it's a multi-game platform, kind of like the old Neo Geo MVS, but modern PC hardware. And as of today, February 23rd, I think, 2021, it has 16 games available for it, and there are more like this one that are in development for it. And with all of those games, most of them are available on consoles in some form, but the X Arcadia version is going to be different, and that's part of the requirements of if you're a developer and you sign up for X Arcadia. I guess I should play here instead of just talking during a screen. But part of the requirements is that you have to have some exclusive content or features and design changes to the game so that it fits best with an arcade style game. And so probably one of the things that they won't have is text like this. Games like Super Battle Princess Madeline, they removed a lot of the talking and whatnot. Now I'm playing with a gamepad here. It does support keyboard, but I just cannot stand fighting fighters and beat 'em up games on keyboard. Just doesn't work as well, so I'm using Xbox controller. But this is explaining what these different orbs do. And so yeah, this definitely wouldn't be in the arcade version, or they'd find some quicker way to describe it. And so I've got my jump, got my fighting, how to do dashing, and this tutorial would probably also not be a part of the arcade version. When I looked on the website about this game, it did have some screenshots that definitely looked like they were from the arcade version, as there's a tutorial screenshot that's different than this, and it looks just like what you would find on the EXA version. And so I do have an XR Arcadia system at one of the arcades that I own. I guess I should be reading this stuff. Secondary weapon attacks with Y. Okay. Oh, use my RB and then I use Y. Alrighty. Gotcha. But yeah, the games that I have, which are available on PC and consoles, are all a little bit different. Things changed so that it works better in an arcade environment, because the reality is that people just do not like to read in arcades. Any game that requires a lot of explanation generally just doesn't do well, is you can't have an attendant next to an arcade game to explain how it works. Now, of course, there are things like that with VR arcades and whatnot, but most arcade games are put into locations that don't even have anybody around, like movie theater lobbies and gas stations, rest stops, and places like that. And so you can't have too much there. People just want to be able to pick up and play. Now, of course, with beat 'em ups, they are a very arcade-style genre. Fast-paced and all that. Okay, let's see. Fury State. And there's a left. So let's do that. Fury! Cool. So one of the things that I've noticed about this as I was reading about it before I played is that the style of this game feels a lot like IGS's Oriental Legend 2. If you haven't played that one, it was a game only released really in China and Taiwan. I did import one, but that was an issue where I learned that people don't also... They don't like playing games that have a lot of text, but they also don't like playing games in a different language, particularly Chinese. And so every time I set that game out, nobody really played it, but it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it myself. I still have it. I probably should sell it, but if I was to get this for my Arcadia, I wouldn't need Oriental Legend 2 anymore because it just feels so similar in a lot of aspects. And that mainly is how this has the special combo moves in it, and so like you can do the Hadouken style movement there, the down forward attack, and then it does that right there. It also has this uppercut thing, and I believe there's other things that you can block there. I also wouldn't be surprised if the arcade version is not quite as long on the levels like this, a little bit even faster pacing, which I know probably sounds a little crazy, but it's just what the arcades need. Generally, the levels that you play in arcade games are not very long. If you really pay attention to, like, say Raiden or something, you'll see that you only spend like a minute and a half. Alright, I guess that's that level. Let's see, we probably go to a boss battle now. Maybe. Oh, yep, no full stages in this demo, so makes sense. From what I did read, this game has been in development for about a year already. Super special attack. Okay. Alright, let's try it. This is another thing that comes from fighting games, in a way. I mean, yeah, some beat 'em ups have had these mega attacks, Streets of Rage, and stuff like that. But the style of how that worked out was a little more like Street Fighter, which I don't really have any problem with. What I like about having that addition into beat 'em ups is that it just gives them a little bit more depth than what you tend to get with them very early beat 'em ups like Double Dragon or Ninja Turtles or just even The Simpsons. Of course, I guess that would be one thing to see, is whether or not this will have team attacks, kind of like the Simpsons did when you have multiple people. So this does support up to 4 players, or at least the final version will, and that will also be included in the Arcadia version. So that should be interesting to see how that works in an arcade environment, but again, we'll have to wait a while because this will probably be 2022 by the time it's released. But there are 4-player games for the Arcadia already. There's 2 of them at the moment. Let's see. Allies. Oh, assists. Okay. And there's YouTuber Maximilian Dude. And I saw from the trailer that this game also has ukulele in it as an assist character. So it'll be interesting to see what else they'll add in there, and maybe the arcade version, since it should have some exclusive stuff to it. I would guess that could be additional stages and additional characters and maybe additional assist characters. I should finish my Arcade Heroes characters design and see if that could become one. So I did reach out to the developers of this game and did get a response, but they wanted to speak more in a video chat. But they're in the Netherlands and I'm in Utah, so gonna take some time to figure out exactly when we can get together to chat more about it, and then hopefully they can tell me what else they plan on putting into the arcade version of it. But I think this helps you get a better idea of what we can expect. And that, oh yeah, with the X Arcadia, if you aren't familiar with it, it does support old CRT monitors and 4:3 aspect ratio in addition to modern monitors. So my EXA is, I think it was the very first to have a 4K monitor on it, and so I've got that running and the games all support it. Am I missing something here? Hearing an enemy bouncing around. Up there we go. That's the enemy. Let's see where we go. If there's a boss battle or not. But as I was saying, yeah. So the X Arcadia supports a number of monitor configurations. In Japan, of course, they mostly have 1080p monitors, 720p still in some places. But yeah, I got 4K on mine, and also with the EXA that's testing at a Dave & Buster's in Florida, that also has a 4K monitor on it. So this should support that just fine at a glorious 60 frames per second. So from what I've been playing, I enjoy this. I really have a thing for beat-em-ups, and so years ago I wrote some articles called Missing in Action, where I talked about genres that have just been missing from arcades for a long time, except for maybe in Japan, but so mainly in the United States. Let's do it. And beat-em-ups was definitely one of those, as the beat-em-up genre kind of died off in arcades around 93 or so. I mean, there were some games that came out every now and then afterwards for it, but it was just kind of a rare event, and that's because most developers wanted to make one fighting games, like Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, and all that. So that was what was hot, and beat-em-ups were not, unfortunately. And so in the modern arcade space, they've also been pretty rare. The most recent one that I can think of is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles by Raw Thrills, and of course I do have video review of that on my channel, where people complain all the time because it's not the original '89 Turtles, so they don't give the game a chance. But hopefully you'll give this game a chance, even though it doesn't have a license attached to it. I guess I should be working more on trying to figure out combos and things like that. So there is a command list here. So there is parrying, with something that some fighting games have, and grabbing an enemy out. So I should be doing more of that. Different chain attacks, special attacks. Looks like they don't have too many specials yet. So I won't memorize all that, but fun to have some dash attack combos as well. I believe this has infinite juggling in it, from what the Kickstarter mentioned. zombies in it. The animations in this, I do wonder how far along they are, how different it'll be by the time it's all completed. Obviously, I would assume that it wouldn't be even better, but I like what they've got so far, and everything moves nice and fast, so I'd also assume that the arcade version would keep that going. Since I'm playing on Apprentice, that's where I haven't died yet. Even though I enjoy beat 'em ups, I never really 1cc'd one. So. There we go. Curious how far this demo goes. Picking up treasure chests like that reminds me a little bit of the Dungeons & Dragons Capcom arcade games. So I do have Tower of Doom, which that's a game I really need to finish one of these days. I've played it many times, but I've never actually dedicated myself to finishing it. These enemies are a little harder. Oh, there we go, there's a grab. Now, from the Kickstarter rewards that I saw, I mean, yeah, the exercise mentioned on there, they only have 2 positions for that. One of them's actually already been taken. So if you pay or donate $8,000 to their Kickstarter, then you'll get this on the X Arcadia plus all the other rewards, but it'll come in a Vuelix cabinet. So you definitely get your money's worth there. Since it would be an Exa system, which can handle up to 4 games, then you can add even more to it. I guess only one other lucky person can go ahead and get that. At least from what the campaign says so far. I gotta work on my parries. Also something I've never been the best at. This is a tough gate. Let's go! They have that weapon, that's probably why I won't let me pick it up. Alright, Benny, let's go! It's funny, that's called the hype beam. Oh, it's getting a little bit harder. Enemies are tougher. There was a sound there that almost sounded like one of Wolverine's attacks from Marvel vs. Capcom 2. What it is. Here we go. So I should move out of the way there. Do a special. More of a mid-boss, or mid-level boss. Treasure. So nice if that turned transparent for that one. Now, I did also read on the Kickstarter page that this has a lot of secrets in it. Don't know if any of those would be put into the demo or not. Maybe one or two, but I guess I've never been the best at finding secrets. I also would have to assume that with 4 players, you have even more enemies on the screen, so things could get a bit chaotic. Yeah, now they are just with one person. That's kind of what you want in these sorts of games. I guess I just realized this is almost like a hardcore Sonic the Hedgehog, like if Sonic had a sword. Shake that out of the way. Maybe I should see if I can parry it. Yes! Oh no, I did my Fury. Wrong one. Still. Probably a good idea to be using a Fury mode while you're fighting these guys. That's how we do it. Alright, what's now? A little bit longer than I expected for a demo. Now, here's probably the boss fight. Yep. Yashi, Yashi. And kill him. Should have parried more. This now would have been a good time to save my Fury. I died. That's right, when they're in Fury mode, you're invincible. Just gotta dodge and parry. Which I'm not doing right now. Another life of mine gone. Let's do another one of these. So yeah, you can pick this up, free demo online. Just search for Jitsu Squad, and I think it's one of the first links that shows up. And I will also be posting about this on arcadeheroes.com. As I mentioned, I'll try to get some more details from the developer as well to find out what will be different in the arcade version. But again, look for this in 2022, and if there's more updates to provide, I'll be providing them. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.